We are family. I got all my sisters with me. And we are at the fourth house. Fourth house is the house of home and family, and it represents your living situation and sources of comfort. So, in this video, I'm going to break down the fourth house in astrology. And so, if you are new to me or my page or to any of my content here in social media land, my name is Kay Catrice, and I am the natal chart navigator. And so, um, I help women, open-minded women, to understand who they are energetically so that they can attract the life of their dreams by using the energies that they were born with. I am an intuitive energy reader, and I am your professor here on Understanding You University. And so let's go ahead, let's jump into this. So, what is the fourth house in astrology? Okay. And so the fourth house represents the home in both the literal and figurative sense. It rules the external space in which we live, as well as everything that makes us feel safe on the inside. Thus, our needs and emotions are a big part of this house, as well as our family, our ancestors, and our heritage. Okay. And so, whatever sign is on the fourth house of your birth chart can reveal a lot about the nature of your home and family, your past, your present, and your future. And so, any planets that occupy this area as well will add a little bit of sauce to how you approach these matters. Okay, the and then when planets are transiting the fourth house, then it gives you a clue into what upcoming challenges or changes may be happening within your home or your family. Okay. And so some themes for the fourth house are family, upbringing, ancestry, home life, emotions, and security. And so after the sense of self is established in the first three houses, now we're moving on to the fourth house, and this is where you create the emotional foundation for the chart. Okay, because this is where the IC is. The IC is the immune coeli, and so this is the lowest point on your chart. Okay, it's the lowest point on your chart. Now, if you're like, what the heck is the immune coeli? I have a video in the astrology basics, playlist, and I will link it here in this video, so that when you get finished watching this video, you can go back, you can watch astrology basics, get kind of caught up to speed, and then come back to the houses series. Okay. Um, all right, and so everything about your living space is ruled by the fourth house. This includes your physical things like the type of home you seek and where it would be located, but also how you maintain it to satisfy your needs. And once you feel safe within the walls of your haven, you can recharge and do whatever you need to do to sustain you. Okay. Now, if you have Libra on the fourth house, your house may be the most decorated, the most aesthetically pleasing in your neighborhood. Now, if you have Sagittarius here, your safe space might be on the road. Like, you might like living in an RV. Okay, because Sagittarius energy loves to travel. It is the archer, and so you may not have a stable home. It may be mobile. And so the fourth house has a great deal to say about where you came from. It rules your roots, your ancestors, your traditions, and your family history. And so all of this shapes your internal sense of self and who you are today. Okay. Your main caregivers play a big role in this, and the level of nurturing that you received or did not receive from them growing up greatly affects the way you nurture and care for yourself and others. Okay. And so now, fourth house, this is the natural house of Cancer. Okay. And the moon is the ruling planet. Okay. Now, again, because I'm going to say this every video, um, it doesn't matter what sign you have on this house, it is always going to have some Cancer flair to it. Okay. So even if you have Virgo on this house, it's still going to have that Cancerian flair to it. Okay. And so now this house also deals with our emotions. And oh crap. Oh, okay. Sorry. So this also deals with our emotions, right? And so the things that feel safest to help us feel secure on the inside, okay? And so when something pulls you too far away from your center, you can become emotionally unregulated. And so the fourth house is your comfort zone and it's what you need to feel protected. And so when you have a solid internal foundation, then you can take your unique and individualized self out into the world. Okay. And so if you're having any issues within your family, you're trying to figure out difficult family issues, or you just want to understand and empower about, your own emotions, learn more about your emotional self, the fourth house is where you would start. Okay. So now if you have planets, okay, in the fourth house, and so the planets that live in your fourth house, they make themselves right at home. They get very comfortable in the fourth house. And so they can give you the story of your private dwellings, your family history, and your emotional security. So if you have the sun in the fourth house, family is everything to you, and you likely take pride in your home. A solid inner and outer foundation is critical for your stability, and you may be the mother friend of the group. Now, if you're a guy watching this, you may be the one that's, you know, trying to make sure that everybody's doing what it is that they need to be doing. Okay. Now, if you have the moon here, the moon is at home in the fourth house, but you may be a bit crabby, and it's more than likely because you're so sensitive to the emotions in the room. There's going to be a really strong attachment to your home, to your family, to your mom, or whoever your main caregiver is. The fourth house, some people say the fourth house represents the mother, and the 10th house represents the father. I personally feel like, because sometimes fathers can be more nurturing than mothers. So I look at it as fourth house rules the more nurturing parent, and the 10th house rules the more authoritative parent. And so if you have Mercury in this house, um, you'll probably have a bookshelf and a good reading chair, and that's probably your safe space. Intellectual stimulation helps to settle your emotions. And you also may be a more traditional type thinker than, like any of the new or radical ways of thinking. You probably won't be in alignment with that type of stuff. And so if you have Venus in the fourth house, you're going to have a beautiful sanctuary, and that is going to be of the utmost importance to you. Um, you don't come out of your shell quickly. You're reserved. But when you do come out, you're a very loyal lover. But you just have to be careful not to mother or smother your partners. Give them room to be. Okay. Now, if you have Mars here in the fourth house, you're probably very protective of your family, but you can also be quite defensive with them as well. There may be a build-up of emotional energy in your child. A build-up of emotional energy in your childhood home may have been expressed as hostility. And so you're going to be somebody who's really going to want to um, work on your emotions. Keep yourself in emotional balance because you don't want to, explode on the people that you love. Now, if you have Jupiter here, this is my placement. I have this placement in the fourth house. Go big or go home. You want a roomy living space and a large family to live in it. and that's your comfort zone. Parental figures may have greatly shaped your self-confidence and belief system. Jupiter in the fourth house, you you want to throw parties, you want all of your family to come over. You just always want to have a good time with the people that you love. Now, if you have Saturn in the fourth house, a strict or cold early environment may have lacked the emotional security that you need it and you still need. But regardless to that, you probably likely feel a strong responsibility to nurture others. Your lack of getting nurturing, may lead you to want to be very nurturing to others. Now, if you have Uranus here, you probably had an eccentric or erratic early home environment. And so that makes your nurturing style a little different than most. Um, there may also be a desire to liberate yourself from family conditions. You want to conditioning. So, however, your family, did things in the past, you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not going to partake in that. All right. And so, if you have Neptune in the fourth house, unconditional love likely didn't happen. Um, it probably didn't happen as you remember it. Um, and so you probably have this idealized perception of your childhood and lack proper boundaries that come from it. So you're going to be somebody who you need boundaries are really important to you. You need to really enforce strong boundaries because you may be duped, if not. And so if you have Pluto in the fourth house, patterns of depending on external sources for emotional security, such as a partner or a job that no longer serve you. And so your soul yearns to find security within and develop deep emotional maturity. So you're going to really need to develop your emotional security because you're just way too attached to others. Now, if you have Chiron in the fourth house, okay, your deepest wound may come from instability in your home and trauma involving your caregivers. And so there may be a strong urge to help others. The strong urge to help others must be balanced by the need to nurture yourself first. You come first, and then you have to pour from a full cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup because they're not going to get the best of you, and you're going to be drained and not able to be no good to anybody. Now, if you have the North Node in the fourth house, a difficult upbringing may leave you with a hard exterior, and so your job in this life is to melt the ice and uncover your emotions. And so instead of trying to control everything, lean into um, lean into vulnerability. And then lastly, if you have the South Node in the fourth house, leaving the family home may be difficult, but there is a need to move past the dependencies on others and go out into the world and make your own way. Okay? And so when planets are transiting the fourth house of your birth chart, um, it may strike up some emotional chords that will affect you in very personal ways. Okay. And so this can bring about experiences that either solidify your foundations or create cracks that throw off your security. Or if there's already cracks, make those cracks bigger. And so exactly what manifests will depend upon what planet is transiting, how it's relating to the other planets, and also your situation, currently what it is. Okay. So, for example, when the moon transits the fourth house each month, you might feel more focused on family matters and wish to spend private time at home. However, you may come off as a little moody or overly sensitive. Now, when Jupiter transits your fourth house once every 12 years, then this can be a fortunate period where you may move into a bigger home or make improvements to your existing domestic life. Okay. And so, learning about the planets that will be transiting your chart in the future can help you to navigate the themes that may arise. Okay. And so, now that we have, you know, went in deep, knee deep into the fourth house. In the next video, we're going to take a look at the fifth house, which is the house of joy and creativity, and how it has its emphasis on our creative work and pleasure. And so I hope you found value in this video. If you did, please do like and also subscribe so that others may find value as well. And share it out so others can find value as well. If you would like to work with me, the information will be in the description box below so that you can work with me. I do natal energy readings, I also do career readings, and I do compatibility readings. These are not synastry readings, so I do not need your partner or potential partner. I only need your information to do a compatibility reading. Also, if you have gotten a chart reading from somebody and you still have questions, or you had questions but there was no way for you to get it answered, and you would like for me to take a look at your chart, you can also book a chart reading with me. It's a 1 hour session where you're able to ask me any questions, and I will go over the chart with you and analyze and answer your questions. And so I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And remember, possibilities are endless. If you can see it in your mind, then you can hold it in your hand. And that should make you smile because you really do create your own reality. Have a great one.